with a great team in Purdue. They obviously have two superstars who we're going to have to give a lot of attention to, but they also have a terrific supporting cast. So we know it's going to be a huge challenge once again for us on the defensive end. Offensively, our guys are playing with a lot of confidence and playing very aggressively. We need to continue that. Purdue has a very physical brand of defense. We're going to have to be tough and battle through that and play through some contact. But I'm excited about tomorrow night's matchup.
Go ahead and take questions right here in the front.
Coach, you mentioned Jeff Washburn, Lafayette Journal and Courier. You mentioned the supporting cast, and when each of the young men were in here, Lewis Jackson talked about his admiration for Rodriguez and Rodriguez for Lewis. They met at a tournament, I guess, down in Fort Myers when they were in high school. An intriguing matchup, two very special players, would you not say, for their respective teams?
No question. Lewis Jackson is a guy that I've known about for a while and actually developed a little bit of a relationship with during the recruiting process. I was an assistant coach at Clemson. I believe he was at Decatur. I can't remember the name of the high school, but he went to school in Decatur and really thought a lot of him. I thought he'd be terrific in our style of play there at Clemson. Of course, he soon after that committed to Purdue, but I followed his progress, and he's gotten better and better every year. He's always been a mature kid and kind of a very tough kid. He's going to be a great matchup for Joey. Hopefully Joey will be a great matchup for him. Lewis is strong and tough and low to the ground, and he can give people trouble. We've watched a lot of tape in the last 20 hours or so of him and the things that he does. So that'll be a great matchup. We can't let him go nutty in the games where he's had terrific offensive games, along with Johnson and Moore doing what their usual deal. Then teams have been in trouble.
Question over here on the right, Coach.
Coach, you guys have talked about how you've been able to use some of the stuff that's been going on the past week or two as motivation. Now that you've gotten a few wins, how do you, as a coaching staff, keep the motivation high and that chip on the shoulder mentality going?
Well, first of all, the motivation at this point, if it's not high, then there's something wrong with you. The reality is, both Purdue and VCU are 40 minutes away from going to San Antonio and playing in the Sweet 16. So, unfortunately, only one of us can go. And it's the same setup where you either win or go home. And I told our guys against USC, I told them again against Georgetown, these teams aren't just going to hand you the game. You got to go take it from them. And I think our players, to a man, have done a terrific job of adopting that mindset, being extremely aggressive, and really taking the fight to our opponent. Now, Purdue's going to be a notch above in terms of their winning experience. They've been there before. Their senior leadership, and the fact that they've got two guys that they can go get themselves a basket pretty much anytime they want to. So we're going to have to do a great job counteracting that.
Question over here on the left.
Hi, Shaka. Jerry Palm, CBS Sports. We've met now. Juwan Johnson is the one guy that Purdue has that just about everybody they play has difficulty matching up with. How are you guys going to attack him? Well, without giving away your entire game plan.
Yeah, somebody asked me a little while ago what our exact game plan was. I said, I can't tell you that now or I'd have to kill you. But we're going to put multiple guys on him. We're gonna use our entire front court to guard him at times. We've got a lot of young big guys that don't play a lot of minutes, but when they do go in there, they should have a great deal of energy and a great deal of passion for stopping their man. So different people will take turns on Johnson. Jamie Skeen's going to find his way onto him at some point, whether it's to start the game or later in the game. If he really gets going, we could double team. But, Purdue can make you pay for doing that. So it's something I really don't like to do, double team big guys. But again, you do it if you have to. We did it on Wednesday against Vucevic from USC, and it really paid off for us. We held him to 5 shots and 11 points. Johnson's a more versatile player. He can step out on the floor. He can make jumpers. He can put it down on the floor. Dangerous on the offensive glass. So it's going to have to be a total team effort on him. And the reality is you're not going to shut him down. Neither him nor Moore. You're not just going to take him out of the game. They're too good of players to do that. You just have to contain them, hold them under their average, and then you got to do a phenomenal job on their supporting cast.
Question right over here on the left and then in the front.
Marilyn Garcia from USA Today. When Joey Rodriguez left the team, after Coach Grant left and all that, what was your vibe on whether or not he was gone for good or was going to come back, and how did you feel about, bringing him back when he decided to do that?
Marilyn, you're a terrific writer, by the way. I just want to tell you that I've read your stuff. As far as Joey, he, when there's a coaching change nowadays, just with today's basketball culture, a lot of times guys leave, and there's nothing really you can do about that as a new coach. The reality is I didn't have a relationship with him because I was a new coach, and he made it clear that he wanted to leave, so we respected that. But you could tell there was part of him that didn't. We had workouts most of the month of April after our coaching staff arrived, and even though he was transferring, he would come and watch workouts. He would sit there, and he would, you could kind of see him envisioning himself out there, but mentally he was back in Florida. I think a lot of it was homesickness, and so he did decide to go back and almost went to Rollins College. But then when he called me in the summer, he said, Coach, I made a mistake. I want to come back. I made one simple comment to him, and that's all I needed to know. Is I said, Joey, we'd love to have you back as long as you're in the circle with both feet. And he said, Coach, I'm in. And that was it. A lot was made of it last year after that, but not within our team. Our guys wanted him back. Our coaching staff wanted him back. And from that point forward, he's been a very hard worker, and it's not something that we've ever really had to revisit.
Right here in the front.
Coach, Matt Painter enjoys the three ball, his team shooting it well, but a couple times this year he felt like they had shot too many, and he said, with us, and it's unique to every team, less is more. But with you guys, I know you've taken 823 of them, and you've had great success doing it. Is this something that evolved, or did you say, hey, go ahead, guys, let them fly?
Yeah, I'd say more of the latter. The way we play, we really try to get out and go offensively. And last year we set a school record for three-point makes. This year we actually set a conference record with made three-point shots. It's not really by design that I want to go out and I want our team to take as many threes as possible, but we do have quite a few guys that can shoot, really, in some of our lineups, all five positions. So I'm not going to tell them to turn down open shots. And if Jamie Skeen has an open three, take it. If Bradford Burgess is open, take it. Brandon Rozelle, you saw what he did last night. Joey, Ed Nixon. So it goes down the line. And, your goal as a coach is just to get a high-quality look every time down. And for us, I feel like if we have a wide-open three-point shot, that's a high-quality look. Now, some games it doesn't fall as much as it does other games, and then you've got to make a concerted effort to get the ball inside and get in the paint.
Lindsey Wilhite, Daily Herald. As you guys are taking down Georgetown last night, I have Twitter open and I see national basketball writers saying Shaka Smart is printing money now and he's the next job, blah, 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 blah. Obviously, you have no problem focusing on what's ahead. Do you have to deal with any players, anything, wondering about what might be next for you or not next for you?
That's a good question, Lindsey. I had not even thought about that. I guess I should put some thought into it. We're just so focused on what we're doing and so focused on Purdue right now. Those guys got to do their job, the media, and they've got to say the things they have to say. March and April is all about the coaching carousel and all that stuff, but that couldn't be further from my mind or, I hope, anyone's mind within our program. It's just not important right now. We've got a huge game tomorrow against Purdue with the opportunity to make school history. And that's basically all there is to it.
Next question right here.
You talked about how the efforts to defend Juwan Johnson, the efforts to defend E'Twaun Moore, and yet kind of acknowledge that they're probably going to get theirs anyway. Maybe you make them work for it. Would you say then maybe it's more important to try and stop, say, Lewis Jackson than to try and stop Juwan Johnson?
Yeah, I think so, Jerry. I think Jackson can't be up at 15, 20 points. You know, that would be a problem if he gets that many. I'm not saying he can't do it. I'm saying we can't allow that. You know, Moore and Johnson, for them not to score in the mid to high teens. I'm not going to say it'd be a miracle, but it'd be pretty close. So we're going to do the best job we can on them. Ed Nixon's a terrific defender for us. He'll draw the assignment on Moore, and you know he'll do a very good job. But they're going to get some baskets because they're going to get a lot of shots, and because they're all Americans. We've got to do a great job on Jackson, on Bird, on Smith, on anyone else that comes in the game for them.
Another question here in the front, Coach.
Hi, Coach. Stacey Clarity with the Fort Wayne Journal in Indiana. Describe your defensive style a little bit. You're going to use some pressure, some full court pressure, or?
Yes. Well, we try to press each and every game. Yesterday was interesting because I never really called the press off, but our guys were just bombing in so many threes that sometimes when you make a shot, you get excited and you run back. I don't know, because you know the camera's on you or what it is. So we didn't press much in the second half, but we didn't need to. But yeah, we'll press. We've got a few different presses we use. We're mostly a man-to-man team in the half court, but we've been mixing in some zone of late, and it's helped us. I would guess we're probably going to need to do that some against Purdue. Their motion offense worries me quite a bit because it's not something that you can take with your team and say, okay, this is exactly what they're going to do. It's interesting. I go to a clinic every August in Florida that Billy and his staff host. And this past August, Matt Painter spoke on the motion offense. I was sitting in the front row in the clinic watching him, and it was an unbelievable display of knowledge of motion. And I don't have my notes with me. They're back at the office. I asked someone to fax them to us, but I'm not sure how much those will help. But the key is that it's all about reading the defense and taking what the defense gives you. So it's not as easy in scouting as just telling our guys, okay, there's going to be a screen here and then a cut there. You got to react and you got to talk and you got to make plays.
Next question here on the left.
Have you played anybody this year that runs the motion offense similar to the way Purdue does it, or maybe as committed as Purdue is to it?
No, we haven't played anyone that runs motion as well as they do. There's some teams in our league that, you know, play motion at times. You know, Old Dominion does some, but theirs is more 4-around-1, just trying to move the ball around the perimeter and get it inside. It's less predicated on screening. A few of the other teams we've played are kind of secondary motion teams, but not as dedicated to it as Purdue is. So it'll be a challenge for us. But when you get to this time of year, you're going to face new styles. You're going to face different players, and you got to step up if you want to win those games.
Any other questions for Coach Smart? One last question in the back.
Coach, Dave Curtis from the Sporting News. I've heard you had an opportunity to go to Harvard coming out of high school. How close did that come to being a thing for you?
Well, I was accepted there, and I visited there. I don't know. That's a good question. I really wanted to go somewhere where I felt comfortable and where I had a great relationship with a basketball coach. So that made my decision easy. I went to a little school in Ohio called Kenyon College. That you know, there was a coach there that took a great interest in me. He turned into basically probably the closest thing I've had to a father figure. So it was an easy decision. A lot of people said I was nuts to turn down the Ivy League schools I got into, but I think I got a pretty good education, and I was able to get a good start in coaching because of it.